welcome to episode freaking 23.
Hell yeah.
So excited. Anyways, friends, thank you so much for tuning in. Catherine, how are you doing today?
I'm feeling really good. I had a chat as I pull a pillow closer to cuddle with.
I know I like having pillows here to cuddle with.
Just cozy. I had a really good chat with one of my friends today, talking about her eventually moving out to like West Coast, probably Vegas, and just hearing about her life. You know, and I feel like I have some friends in my life where just talking to them feels so like life-giving and makes me feel like whole again. Like they're all like bits and pieces of me.
Right.
And so it just
That's so fucking sweet.
I hope you know you're like one of those people too.
Oh my
yeah.
God, shut the fuck up. I can't hear that right now. I will cry.
Well, you're one of them. But like it like starts my day off on a really good note, and then it just like makes me feel so like loved and happy.
Yeah.
And like even, I mean, for my friend, there's a lot going on in her life right now, and some of the things aren't necessarily the best, and there's some things that are okay. But like even if we're having like difficult conversations, or it's not just like all like rainbows and daisies, like it just still makes me so happy and feel connected.
Right. I was gonna say it's still that like connection, even if it's like you're not, like you said, talking about like everything being perfect. It's still that like connecting of like understanding each other, talking to each other, like connecting.
Yeah.
What's your love language, first of all?
So on New Year's when we did the quiz for LaCroix Boy, we never did it for me.
Okay, we need to do it for you because I'm just curious, I guess, now, especially since you mentioned that. Like, I'm just curious.
And I couldn't even tell you because it's changed. For sure it's changed since I did it in undergrad, and I don't remember what it was in undergrad. We'll do that like maybe next weekend.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll have Froze next weekend. We'll do love languages quiz because this is what we do when we have friendship time, is take like mental health, relationship quizzes, communication
love language quizzes.
It's fun times, you guys. I highly suggest it.
Great. But that's really awesome.
Yeah. So just I'm feeling good in this moment. It's just staying present and feeling connected and loved.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice.
How about you, Courtney? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Just like you said, trying to stay like connected, trying to find things that make me happy, trying to, I guess, like really trying to like find things that like motivate me, because I have been having a hard time with like just doing like daily tasks, I guess. I think I know why, but I'm not for sure why. I think it does have to do with work.
Yeah. I mean, that'll definitely like impact a lot of aspects of your life,
right?
For sure.
And I think also too, like, it's so weird because I feel very torn where like I love being at home. Like I could be at home all the time and I absolutely love it. I love working from home. Like I get to be with my dogs. I get to make my own lunches. Like,
I cannot.
See, but I'm also struggling because I don't go or do anything else. And so I feel like there's this one part of, like, there's a part of me that's like, no, I want to be at home. Like I love it so much. I don't want to go anywhere else. Like this is my comfort place.
Yeah.
I want to be here, but I also feel like it's too comfortable for me, and that could be one of the reasons why I'm feeling a little bit more down, because I'm not doing anything. And I was telling my therapist about this in one of my like my earlier sessions, and I was like, it's so weird because like sometimes like I feel like I'm medium social, right? So like I like talking to people, I like being around people, but also like if I had a choice, I'd probably rather be at home.
Yeah, like that, like introvert versus extrovert. You're like more introvert, or like you find like restfulness and like refreshing from like being at home, being a little bit more alone sometimes.
Right. Not really alone because I do hate being alone, but like
in your
just
safe
like
space,
in my
like,
safe space. So like with Nate here, with you here, with my sister here, like
with like select people.
Right. And so, but also too, like I do love like specifically like going to like for work, not my current job right now because I haven't gone to any events, but like previously, like I do love going to events. I love meeting. I don't love meeting new people just because I have anxiety about it, but I still like talking to people. And so I was telling my therapist like how I like I'm struggling with it, and I think it's just from like being at home so much, which I love, but she was like, you also need that kind of like human connection, and you know, because of the pandemic and stuff, like a lot of us aren't getting that right now. And so I think I mean it's been almost a year, so it's kind of normal. Totally normal to start struggling with it after almost a year. I'm kind of surprised it took that long, but
it's kind of like candy. Like it's like having too much of a good thing where like your home like makes you feel happy, but like when you have too much candy you get that stomach ache and you're like, oh no, like this felt really good in the moment, and now like I have like regrets about it.
Well, my therapist also too talks a lot about kind of like how some people, like, you know, maybe when they're not ready to ask for help yet, or they don't really want to get that help yet, it's because they're comfortable in how they are.
Yes.
But it's not always good.
Yeah.
And so I think that's kind of where I'm at right now, where like I'm super comfortable being at home. I also love being at home. Like, you know, Nate's here with me all the time. Like, and I really do love that. But also I think there's a part of me that does need that like human interaction of like talking to people, meeting new people. And, which is weird because I like just kind of want to stay in my bubble, like under my blanket, but also I feel like I need more. And
I think that they're like, it's like having that balance. So like, while like being in the comfort zone, like having your safe place is super important, you have to kind of balance that out with the other pieces that get you out of that comfort zone. So then it brings back that appreciation, that feeling good in your comfort zone. Whereas right now it's like all the comfort zones. So then all of your feelings, all of your things are happening here rather than like a balance of it.
And there's almost no separation between like it's so funny because like it's really weird for me, like for work, because I do struggle with my job, and so I don't like sometimes I used to take meetings from this room and this couch because it's a nice like clean background, like it's, you know, it's a nice little area, but I also don't, I want this spot to be my happy spot. I don't want it to be like a work confrontation spot. But then so I would move into my like, we have like an office / vanity room, and that's where I do like my makeup videos and stuff. And so I was going there, but then I was like, but I also want this to be my happy spot. And then it was like, okay, I'm just going to work from my couch. But then it's like, I want my couch to be my happy spot. So it's just kind of hard because like,
you're like, these are all my happy spots. I don't want them to be like clouded by the unhappy spot that is work right now.
So it's just kind of just, I guess, trying to find that balance. So really doing things like, even like if it's like once or twice a week of getting out of the house, just like going to the grocery store, or yesterday, like I went to Ulta and to Target, and it was like, even though I was just gone for like 30 minutes, kind of just like getting out, having, you know, conversations with the cashier or whatever it may be,
a little bit of like social interaction with people that you have like no relationship with,
and then I also too this morning kind of just felt like I wanted to like talk and kind of like talk to people, and so I did a little like get ready with me thing on my Instagram story, and like I've had people responding, and it's just so nice to have that kind of like connection, even if it is like over the phone or virtual. Like it's still nice to have that kind of connection. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
And I will say that I am really proud, because I know that you've been actively trying to work on things in the last like couple of weeks, especially with going on bike rides, like getting out, trying to like do more with your makeup stuff. And I think that is really awesome that you're doing that, and I'm really happy seeing that for you, because I know how life-giving that is for you. So
thanks, that's really sweet.
So for today's episode, kind of what we're just like talking about right before we started recording.
And I feel like too real quick, I feel like we always have like a good segue into this, but there was no like segue. Like we're just like, check-ins are done, let's talk about this.
Like
I don't really know how to segue into that. But today we're gonna kind of talk about, I think you mentioned earlier, turning this into like a series. So kind of like the societal norms of being a woman and how that impacts your mental health.
Kind of like the pressures that are just associated by being a woman, and kind of what society views our role and expectations of us.
And how that can cause, you know, body issues, anxiety,
stress, not feeling like you're good enough, or you're not like fitting the perfect like woman role.
And it's so easy to kind of feel that way, especially when you're on social media. And you know, I don't like, neither of us have any children, and I feel like I see, even just not having children, I see a lot of people attacking other moms on social media and like telling them how to parent, and I cannot imagine like getting all of that negativity.
From what I know, and again, neither of us have children, but from what I know of like with seeing my sister both of my sisters raise their kids, and seeing my friends that are now kind of raising young ones, like you're just trying your best to get through raising a child, trying your best to give them like the most stability you can, and there's no like easy guidebook that you follow.
And I think, you know, for us especially, we've both been married for a few years now. We've both been with our partners, spouses, husbands, whatever you want to call it, for quite a few years. I think you're 9 years this year.
Yeah, 9 years was back in December.
Okay, so 9 years, and then Nate and I have been together for 7 years, married for 3. You guys have been married for almost 3.
Yes. Oh my god.
I know.
Oh lordy. Yes.
So, and I actually found this very early on, literally as soon as we got engaged, of people being like, when you guys gonna have babies? Like, and I was like, girl, I'm not even married yet. Like, at least wait till I'm married. And then it happened, and then they were like, babies, like, when are you gonna have babies? And it's like,
yeah, like, can I tell you, so when LaCroix Boy and I first started dating, we all know that it took a hot moment for like me to lock down LaCroix Boy. Review past episodes. But so we started dating in December, and then this is probably 2 months, yeah, almost exactly, because it was, I think, around his birthday. His mom and dad came to visit. This is the first time I met them, and I met them at breakfast at a really tasty like diner in Reno, Nevada. Peg's, highly suggested if you guys are ever there.
If you guys live in Reno,
yeah, like hit it
if
up.
you're visiting,
hope it still exists. Check it out. But one of the first things that I remember his mom saying to me was, "Are you gonna be the mother of my grandbabies?" Like, literally, I had just met her, and I think LaCroix Boy was there when she said it, I think. But I was just like, oh lordy,
right?
I don't know if LaCroix Boy even likes me right now in this moment,
right? Like, how do I respond to this? And
yeah,
something similar happened to me and Nate. It was not too long. So literally, like, the day after we got engaged. So I'm just gonna preface this with I love Nate's family.
Yeah.
And the day after we got engaged, we went to, I think, a zoo or some kind of someplace.
What a romantic celebration.
Well, it was with Nate's family, and it was Nate's birthday the same weekend. So he proposed to me on his birthday. So it was either maybe it was like the fair, like the county fair or something.
Oh, okay.
We went somewhere in New York where we were living at the time, and it was just me and his mom were sitting there, and she was like, "So when are you guys gonna have kids?" And I was like, I haven't even been engaged for more than 24 hours. Like,
you're like, I'm still trying to process the fact that I'm getting married in this
moment.
And
then, so we got engaged in August. In October, we bought our first car together, and it's a Honda CRV. That's yours.
Yeah, that's mine.
It's a Honda HRV. It's pretty
so
nice.
Close in name. Also, why do car companies do that? Where it's like CRV, HRV, PRV, like whatever. I don't even know. PRV doesn't exist, but why?
Right. So it's a pretty big. I mean, it's not huge, but it's big, right? It's like a nice car. And one of the reasons we bought it was because we were moving from New York to California, and we needed enough room to or a big enough car to haul a U-Haul.
Wait, you guys moved back to California?
I'm sorry. Arizona.
Okay, I was like, wait, I don't know this about you. You moved back to
Arizona. Sorry.
I'm in a hair flip for the fact that, as your friend, I knew that.
I know, thank you. But we, the day after we got it, we were like, we need to go to your parents' house. Let's show your parents. We were all excited, and we get there, and they come out, and they're looking at the car, and Nate's mom was like, ooh, it's perfect for twins. And I was like, I don't even know if I want, especially right now, one baby.
Yeah, let alone 2 at the same time. Lordy. Yeah, no.
And so, ever since then, too, I just feel like there's so much, pressure as married or engaged, or just a couple who's been together for a long time, to have kids. And it's one of the things that really bothers me about people, asking when you're gonna have a baby or if you're gonna have a baby, it's you don't know what's going on in our personal life. So what if I had been trying for years and it's not working, and I'm getting to a point where I'm just completely broken because we can't have kids. You guys don't know that, and you just don't know what's going on in someone else's life.
You don't know if their relationship is so on the rocks, where they're even struggling having that solid foundation. They're I can't even imagine having a kid with this person, and that's just a constant reminder that they're in a really shit place,
right? Or what if we had gotten pregnant a couple of times and I had just had multiple miscarriages. You don't, especially people think that everyone just shares everything on social media, but if Nate and I were trying and we were unable to get pregnant, I'm not going to talk about that on social media until I'm ready to, or at all, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because it's also not really anyone's business.
Exactly. And that's another thing too of asking women, and I think too society views women of having to be moms. You have to be a mother, you have to want kids, you have to you're a woman, you have that maternal instinct, and for women who don't want kids, it's ew, why?
I'm like, and that's something that I'm actually really struggling with right now is I have this feeling of I enjoy kids. I love being around babies. I think they're wonderful and beautiful. And I have this feeling of I'm finally feeling happy. I finally am feeling like I can do things for myself. And I feel like I spent my whole life not being able to prioritize myself or invest in myself and do things that I really have wanted to do. And I have the understanding that when you have a baby, a lot of that goes out the window.
Right, because it turns into being all about the baby.
Yes. And I'm in a place where like I don't know if I want kids. Right. And I'm feeling really guilty about that. And I mean, I know that my family would support me and be fine, but even my sister, and she has no ill intentions with this at all, and she's super sweet about it, where she's like, I can't wait for you guys to have babies, and
like, or like something like, I can't wait to be an auntie or something like that.
Yeah, because she's like, I want to take, I mean, she also is just having like baby syndrome right now, where she just like wants another kid. But like I feel guilty in that moment because I'm like, I don't know if I want to have a kid, and I'm feeling bad because I'm like, I should have a kid. This is what's expected. Right. This is what I always told myself that I needed to do.
I'm a woman. I should want a kid.
Yeah. And I'm just feeling really like trapped and stuck with it because I don't know. I also don't know if like that feeling will change in like 3 or 4 years, but like I just.
Well, also like we're very young, and I feel like it's kind of getting more normal to have kids at younger ages right now. And like we still have so much time to figure out if we want kids or not. Like, and you know where we're at in our lives, like also too, like Nate and I want to travel together, like, and we were planning actually last year we were gonna plan this kind of huge actually trip to go to the UK together and to travel the UK together, and then I got laid off my job and we ended up not doing it, which is also kind of worked out because COVID. So it kind of all worked out, but like we really want to travel like overseas together at least once before we have a kid. We want to at least own a house before we have a kid, you know, like there are certain things that we want to do. And like Nate is younger than me too, so Nate's only 25. I had to think about it for a second.
Babe.
He's a little baby, right? So Nate's only 25, and so it's like, you know, I'm not like that. You know, there was a point in my life too where I think it was right after we moved here actually, and I was really happy in my job, like everything just felt very stable, and I was like, I want to have a baby, like I'm ready to have a baby. And Nate was like, I'm not quite ready yet, like you know, we're still so new in our marriage, like we're still so like, you know, we're settled, but we're not like settled like he still kind of had a job that was like, it was a contract position, so it wasn't fully stable, so he was like, let's wait. And I was really upset about it for a little bit, and then I just kind of got into this thing where I was like, I couldn't even imagine. And I was 24, 25. I can't even imagine having a baby right now at 27.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's just like, I don't know. And I do feel like we get so much pressure from, you know, our parents or grandparents, or, you know, I actually had to, my parents started making like casual, like, not like jokes, but like casual, like, oh, well, when you have a baby, or like, oh, when I'm a grandma, or when I'm a grandpa, or like stuff like that. And I like at one point had to be like, listen, like we're not having kids right now. And I was like please, like stop.
Yeah. And I mean, I think too, when asking someone about their future, because I think that's part of like when people ask like, when are you having kids, like part of them is just wanting to know like, what are you planning in your future? But I think that there's a better way to ask women about that. Like, you typically don't hear people asking like a guy, when are you gonna have kids?
Right.
Like, what are you, it's more like, what does the future hold for you? What are your plans? And like, it's such a different question with women. And it's like, why can't we be asked the same thing? Like, why can't it be like, what do you have in store for your future?
Like,
what do you
want to do with your career?
Yeah.
Like, you know, and it's, I feel like a lot of the thing, like you said, like a lot of the questions that people ask women has to do around being a mom and family. And it's like, I know that I want kids. I don't want them right now, but I know that I want kids. I have a feeling of like, you know, and one of the things too is like, I just can't wait to like have something like another person that I just love that much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like, I'm very excited for the time for when I do get to have kids, or when I, you know, when Nate and I do have kids, but I don't want it or need it right now.
Yeah. And I think that as you get asked more and as that pressure builds up, it's like, oh, I probably should be wanting this right now. I probably should be doing this.
Right.
It's a whole bunch of those I should be's, like shoulding all over myself.
Right. And I feel like too, like there's like a specific timeline that women like have to follow. And it's like, you know, graduate high school, go to college, get married, have a baby.
Yes.
And it's like there's like nothing that can be put in between. And it's like, well, what if I want to get this promotion at work before I want to have a baby? What if I want to start my own business before I have a baby? Like, what if, you know, what if I want to do like anything, travel before having a baby?
That's exactly like what's going through my head, where I'm like, I'm studying to be fluent in Japanese. Like, what if I wanted to do a job that requires travel to Japan? Or like I might have a job where it requires me to be away, where I wouldn't feel comfortable having a child at that point in my life. And then there's that pressure on the other hand of like, no, you need to start having a baby soon. Your biological clock is ticking. But like, I feel so excited about these like hopes and dreams of like becoming fluent and intertwining that into my work and all these like opportunities. And it just, and
I think it's interesting too, because it happens to us as married, you know, women who don't have any kids, but it also happens to married women who do already have kids. Like for example, one of my friends had, so her and her husband, he had a kid before they got married, and then they have a baby together, and she's actually pregnant with her third child right now. And but like before that, she was like, I'm not sure if I want another baby right now. And her whole family was like, when's your third one coming? Like, when are you guys gonna have another baby? Like, kind of pressuring her. And she was like, we're just not ready for that yet. And so they waited till they were both ready to have their third baby, and now she's like, I don't want to, like, my family's going to be complete after this. Like, I don't want to have any more. But like, there's still that pressure of like, when are you guys going to have more kids? And it's like, you can
just
never,
keep popping them out.
win. Like, you already have a baby. Like, why are people asking you if you're going to have more?
And that's not to say that being a mother isn't like a truly wonderful and like, I don't know if I'd use the word magical. Maybe it's magical. I don't know personally. But like, it is a wonderful role to be in. It's a wonderful experience to have. And I think it's really valued. It's just not everyone might have the same priorities or values in their life.
And I see, I saw this thing on Facebook the other day, and I actually shared it. And it was like, it was two little side-by-sides, and it was like a woman who was like working in business, and then it was a woman who had like a family with like 3 kids, and it was like on both sides it said an accomplished woman and an accomplished woman. And like, I love kind of those side-by-sides too, because there was a couple of them, and there was one where it was like just got married, and then it was like just got out of a toxic relationship, and it was like a proud woman. And so it's like stuff like that of like, you can celebrate both sides of it. Like, you don't have to fall into that, you know, what society thinks is normal. If like, and I just hate that it's so pressured for women.
Like, I will say, being a stay-at-home mom is a lot of like hard work. I remember my sister Stephanie, she was a stay-at-home mom.
My sister-in-law is a stay-at-home mom, and I'm like, it's props to you. That was another thing too, where it was like a woman working at like a business, and she was standing, and then it was like a woman, like a stay-at-home mom, and it was like a really hard job.
Because it's a lot of work. And I think that we like, not only do we put the pressures on women to stay at home with the child, but it's like sometimes we look down on stay-at-home moms as well. Like, there's this like idea of like, not only do you have to give birth to children, you have to take care of them, but also work as well. And I just feel like
there's no winning.
like welcome to being a woman,
right? Like, whatever you do, you're gonna get judged. If you're a stay-at-home mom, you're gonna be like, oh, well, you're not helping provide for your family. But if you go out, you're like, well, who's taking care of your kids? You're not spending enough time with your kids. And like, you know, if you want to have a baby, you're like, okay, but when you're gonna have multiple babies? And if you don't want a baby, it's like, well, why don't you want a baby? Like, why aren't you being maternal? That's your instinct.
Can we also just talk about that it's like totally acceptable for like a husband and / dad to stay at home with the kids, like to have a stay-at-home dad?
I also hate the idea of like women being like, or like not just women, but like people being like referring to the dad as a babysitter. Like, oh, he's being a great babysitter today. And it's like, no, he's a father.
Like, he's doing what he should be doing.
He's being a dad. Like,
and like, I think too, again, going back to not everyone is the same. So there might be situations where it makes sense for the dad to stay at home with the child. And I think in situations like that, there's like, it's so much more commendable. It's like, wow, you're a stay-at-home dad.
Like, have you guys watched New Girl?
Oh, of course.
Okay, so like in New Girl, towards the end, when Cece and Schmidt have their baby, and it fast forwards to like 3 or 4 years, whatever it does. Schmidt is like the stay-at-home dad, and Cece like has her own like badass company.
Oh, and that's when he has a terrible mustache, isn't it?
Yeah, that really gross ass mustache. Yeah, but like I really liked that about New Girl because it kind of showed, and like even like there's a part of it too where someone says something to him about it, and he's like, I love staying at home with my daughter and like stuff like that, and it's like, and he's like being supportive of like his wife's, you know, no toxic masculinity, no toxic what. No toxic masculinity for Schmidt, okay? We need more Schmidts in this world.
It's really true, though. Like, I think that it should just be like, whoever's going to stay at home with the kids stays at home. It shouldn't just be anticipated that the woman is going to stay at home. And it shouldn't be this, like, pedestal of, oh my God, the guy's staying at home. What a saint. Like, wow. Like, it's great. Someone's staying at home.
Normal dad thing.
Like, either of them are dedicating their lives to their children. They're taking care of them. It's hard work. Both should be commended. And I think that it just needs to be more of a level playing field for that.
Right. It needs to be equal.
And I think that, like, when you think about the impact on mental health with this, I think that it creates this feeling of being not enough. Like, if you're not fitting into these roles, whether you're working and you're not staying at home with your kids and you feel like you need to be doing more, or you can't have kids or don't want kids, like it just creates this feeling of I'm not enough. I don't fit into my role. I'm not what I need to be.
Or like you were mentioning earlier, like it makes you feel guilty, and like that guilt can like eat you up. And then it's like, you know, like what if there's situations where it's like you don't want to be a mom or you're not ready to be a mom, and you just get so pressured that you feel like you have to, and then you have a baby and you're like, I didn't want this.
Yeah. Well, not to mention too, having children, especially like postpartum syndrome, I think that's what it's called. Postpartum depression.
Yeah.
There we go.
Postpartum depression. PPD. Yeah, that's right.
That can be really impactful, and that's honestly something that I'm also very concerned about. Like, part of my fear of like having children is like I already struggle with my own mental health, like without having a child and the pregnancy and all of those hormones and things mixed in. And then I'm like, is that a safe option for me? What is that going to look like? Because I was in a really not good place before I started medication. And so then I worry about like, can I actually even be present enough, and can I take care of myself and a baby,
another human?
Yeah.
And I think too, like both sides are beautiful. You know, like wanting to be a mom and wanting to care for another human like that, and wanting to love another human and take care of another human and be that mother figure. It's beautiful. And like I truly love watching people who want that. I love watching that for them. Like my friend that I mentioned earlier, I love watching her grow her family. She is a fantastic mom. I love like hearing the stuff she does with her kids. Like I love it so much, and it's beautiful. But there's also that side of, you know, wanting to work on yourself and wanting to be present for yourself, and wanting to work on maybe you and your husband, or you and your wife, you and your spouse's relationship, whatever it may be, and wanting to work on that, and wanting to travel, and wanting to reach all of your goals either before you have kids or just doing it not to have kids. I think that's also very beautiful. And I just feel like not wanting kids should be just as normal as wanting kids. Again, it should be more so like, what are your guys' future plans? And then if people choose to tell you like, yeah, we want kids, great, but the expectation shouldn't be kids. It should be, there's a whole multitude of what it should be or could be. Right. And I feel like too, like I mean, we both know how much like debt I'm in with student loans, right?
And like, we're right there too, so don't worry.
And so like I feel like I, you know, did all this stuff, and I went to school, and I'm proud of what I went to school for. And I feel like more often than not, like, and so like I'm also too like proud of, you know, the work that I do. I don't necessarily love my job, but I'm still proud of me being where I'm at, and I'm proud of the things that I've done. And so it's like, why is the question more so often when you're gonna have babies rather than like career oriented or goal oriented? Like if my goal was to have a baby, great, please ask me questions about it. Like I love that so much, but like that's not my goal right now. So it's like, why can't stuff like career and
Hobbies.
just happiness and hobbies just be a general question or the first question you ask women. Like, and like even my friend who I've been mentioning a bunch, she's like my closest mom friend, so I'm gonna draw back to her a lot. But she is both very much like a really awesome, hardworking mom, but loves her job too. Yeah, and so
I've seen the photo. She has the hair, right?
Yeah, she's amazing. She's so amazing, and she like got her own booth, and she has like all these clients lined up, and you know she's not working right now because she's about to freaking pop. Like by the time we release this episode, she'll have her baby, but like she loves both sides of that for her, and so it's like, you know, I just kind of I want it to be like both be like normal questions, and like maybe after she has the third baby of not being like, when you guys gonna have your fourth baby, like when you're gonna have your next baby, like is your family done growing, like why not make it something like, okay, like, you know, you finally have your own booth, like oh my gosh, this is so exciting for you, what are you gonna do to like, you know, like maybe after she has the baby a little bit longer, because the baby is going to be the focus for a little bit.
I can imagine.
So it's going to be a cute baby too. I can just tell. I'm so excited to see him. Anyways. See, and I just think it's beautiful for both sides.
Yeah. I think that's like the other part of my fear is too, like the other end where like, if I don't have a baby, the fear of like missing out on that beautiful aspect of it. Because I do think that there is a lot of wonderful things that come out of being a parent, out of watching a child grow. And so then it's like, what if I choose not to have a baby and then one day I wake up and I'm like, all of the regrets on the opposite end.
Right. And so, and I also, you know, fear a lot too with having kids of like, what am I going to pass down to them? And that's another thing that really is hard for me to like deal with, and it's really hard on my anxiety, because I'm like, what if I pass down, you know, like my family, like depression and bipolar disorder runs in my family, and so it's like, what if and I'm not saying it's bad for them to have that, but it's just hard to watch.
You want the best for your baby,
right? And it's hard to watch like people you love suffer, like let alone like a child.
Oh yeah.
And so like, just, or not like suffer but struggle, so it's like, it's just like, I don't like, I feel like it's just so hard for me to be like, well, what, you know, or like even just thinking like, what if, I don't know. And I guess I fear too, because my house growing up was very rocky,
a little tumultuous.
Yeah, and so like, I don't ever want that, and I don't think Nate and I would ever have that. But kids do change a lot in a marriage.
Oh, yeah. LaCroix Boy and I multiple times have been like, oh, God, are we going to, like, fuck up if we have, are we going to fuck up our child?
Right. Like exactly. Like, there's always that fear of, like, oh, my God, like, what if and, like, too, like, I watch, like, moms, like, their kids, like, ask a bunch of questions. And like all this stuff, and I'm like, how would I I don't think that fast. How would I answer these questions?
Oh my God, I've heard some of the responses that my sister that lives here that she's given to my niece, and I'm like, oh my God, what a brilliant response. How'd you even think of that?
Right. And I just feel like too, like, so I also struggle with like teaching them things, like specifically around like, you know, we're not religious people, so like how do we teach like what Christmas is without having religion behind it, you know what I mean? It's just stuff like that. So like there are just so many things that I like,
so many like worries that come along with it, and,
right?
Like,
and so like right now in my life I don't need or want those worries, and that's okay.
Yes, it's a-okay,
right? And I just feel like, I don't know, I don't know, you know.
Yeah. I got you, I got the feels.
Right. The feels, all the feels.
I think, and I mean, obviously, like I was saying earlier, these are things that I'm experiencing right now. There's no like solution. I'm not like instantly through this conversation feeling better about any choices I make.
Right.
But I think that knowing that whatever I decide with LaCroix Boy, obviously, it will be okay. And I'm more so like saying this out loud to myself right now, trying to internalize it.
No, and it will. And I don't know, I just feel like if, you know, if you don't want to have kids, that's okay, as long as it's like a decision like you guys make together and you guys won't resent each other for it.
Yeah.
If you do want to have kids, great, but also if you don't, that's great too.
Yeah. If we don't end up having kids, I'm just gonna be the best fucking aunt in the world to like so many babies. Like, I'm gonna love the shit out of your baby if you do have one.
And like I said, I do know that I want kids.
Okay, so then I'm definitely gonna be the best fucking. I mean, obviously Heather is like auntie, but then I'm gonna be the one that's like casually obsessed. Like after Heather leaves, I'm gonna be like, hi baby.
Right, and like I said, like I do know that I want kids. Like I do want to be a mom, but also I don't know when that's gonna be, because it's not right now. But I also too think a lot about and there's so many things that go into thinking about being a mom, because I would also love to adopt a child. Like sometimes I consider like not even birthing my own and just adopting, just because I feel like there are so many kids who do need parents, and I would love to adopt a child. And so, you know, whether it is me having my own babies, giving birth to my own children, or me adopting, like I know I'm gonna be a mom one way or another. But it's not going to be anytime soon.
I promise, whenever you have babies, I will babysit them so you can have really fun date nights still.
Thanks, that's very sweet.
I'm going to snuggle them so hard.
Thanks. I know. I already know that they appreciate that. As long as they want your snuggles, Catherine.
That's true.
That's I will get their whole other episode.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
Not forcing your children to like hug people they don't want to.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll go into that at a later date, because there's a lot I have to say about that.
Right. But anyways.
Yeah, I think I've said a lot
like we
today.
Talked really fast, because this is not even like 40 minutes yet. And we talked about so much stuff. I feel like we talked really fast today. So thanks for keeping up. Like, we're so sorry.
We were spitfires today.
Like, I just feel like we both were very like, let's talk about this.
Passionate. This is in my mind right now.
We have a lot of pent-up aggression, apparently.
A lot of societal pressures on us right now that we needed to vent about. So thanks, guys, for joining us on the venting adventure.
Yeah, if you guys feel the same, like, please let us know, because that's what this is here for, to know that we're not alone. You guys are not alone.
Seriously. So if you want to connect with us and not feel so alone in these things, go and follow us on Instagram at That's Totally Normal, right? Cue the little line of it above our heads. I couldn't think of the words.
That's okay.
And then definitely follow us on YouTube if you prefer to watch our videos. We have captions on it, so sometimes that's a little bit more accessible.
Especially maybe for this episode when we talk rapid fire shit to you guys.
True that.
But also, go ahead, Catherine.
Thanks. Or you can follow us on any of the platforms where you listen to your podcasts. Again, you just search That's Totally Normal, right?
And we're so excited because we do have a website launching very, very soon. It'll have a lot of like blog posts. You can listen to our episodes there. You can just kind of view, browse, get to know us a little bit more.
Yeah.
Extra content. Another place to connect.
Yeah. Definitely, you guys. Well, thanks for listening in as we rapid fired at you today.
Pew, 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 pew.
Love it. Sound effects. Great. Maybe we'll start like an audio like library of like snippets of things we say.
Oh my gosh. There'll be so much in there. I feel like we make such weird sounds.
Oh yeah. That'll go in as well.
But thank you guys again for tuning in, and we will see you guys in our next episode. Bye, friends.
Matane.